Okay, hello everybody. This is take two already because the first one I felt like I rambled on way too much. I did a flip through of this one already. This is my little play on a Lapbook. I use it for a planner insert cover. This is going to be me showing you how to make it at this point because I did a quick video, kind of the way I prefer to do them. But there wasn't any other videos that I could direct people right to. I'm sure I'm not the first one to think of this. However, I just don't know of a video to send people to. The first thing I'm going to do is mark my center line on a file folder. Okay. With the file folder, you have that fold, but there's also these three other folds right there. What I like to do is fold this third seam as well, and that becomes about a 1/2 inch seam. I'm sure it's not perfect, but it's good enough. Yeah, it's a little over 1/2 inch. So from the center line, I say center, but it's, I guess, pretty much the center of a file folder. I'm going to come over 5 inches. That's where I like it at. You can do it however you want to. And actually, I don't usually even mark these, but I plan on cutting it down off camera so you're not stuck watching me forever. So here is oh my gosh, line up my lines. Okay. Here is 5 inches. I then come over on this side and I'm going to add a 1/4 inch. Then I like to add an additional 1/2 inch. So that 1/2 inch line is actually going to be the only line I cut on this side. I'm eyeballing it. We're going to hope that's about 1/2 inch. Yeah, it looks somewhat even. All right, on this side, we're going to go off of this line. We're going to do 5 inches again. I'll mark this side over here. And I guess I'll even be good and measure it. Maybe not. Straight in there. Thank you. All right, 5 inches there. On this side of the file folder, you really don't have to cut anything off if you don't want to. I've seen on the Lapbooks where people leave this little side piece on. I don't care for it, so I'm going to show you how I would cut that off. Again, I'm just drawing a line for camera. And I don't have to worry about this side since I'm going to cut here. So we're going to do cut and cut. I cannot see the screen on my camera, so I am hoping that you can see all of this. What I have found is a 9 inch height works really well for me. So this is not going to show up very well, but so I would cut the full length where it's only 9 inches tall across the entire thing. I am going to pause the camera real quick and I will be back after I have this one cut down. Okay guys, I am back. So what I have done at this point is cut that portion off. Well, no, that would actually be over here. Cut this portion off. Then I went over and I cut this portion off. And this was the part across the bottom. Well, no, like that. Whatever, you get the point. I cut the bottom off so that I have a 9 inches up height-wise, 5, 1/2 inch, and I did fold my seams. This was what was left over here, which looks to be about 2 inches. There's my 5 inches. This is my 1/4 inch. Yes, I did a jacked up fold here for creasing it, but I don't have a scoreboard and I do what I gotta do. This is the 1/2 inch. This is where I cut it off. I did manage to break a fingernail while I was doing this. Isn't that epic? All right, give me 1 second. Okay, I forgot to cover up my broken nail before I got back on here because it just seems really gross. So I am rocking the Buzz Lightyear. Yep, I got up my son's old bandages. He's too cool for Buzz Lightyear anymore. So these I'm just going to put to the side. This is trash, but sometimes I use these for the pockets. So at this point, let me stop saying so. We have created this flap along with this part and this 1/4 inch seam here. I'm going to put that one to the side and we are going to move on to our next one. I have a hot mess going on, so I could not find my pencil. Same thing, we're going to use this center line right here. We're going to skip that fold. There's a fold over here. We're going to use this line for another 1/4 inch seam. From this seam line, we are going to measure over 5 inches. I like to cut this portion off right here. And I will tell you guys, when I fold these, I'm going to blame it on whoever makes the file folders. However, it's probably me since I can never cut a straight line. I always have to end up fussing with my seams and the height to adjust it. So we have 5 inches here. Whatever's left here. About 3.5, I guess. We're going to go to this seam line. We're going to measure over 5 inches again. I'm going to come down here and mark this side just so I can show you. This is going to be our cutoff line here. I said I was going to mark it, but I can't find it. That does not look straight at all. What did I do? All right, this is... Oh, apparently I can't measure either. That's going to be our fold line. So let's try that one again. We're going to go here. Only about 1/2 inch off. So we are going to cut this line. We're going to fold here. We're going to fold here. And this line here will be a cut line. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to come down 9 inches. Because I only want mine to be 9 inches tall. You can play with these measurements. You can do them however you want to. It's really not like, oh, you have to do exactly what I say. Only what I say. Yeah, I don't care. Come up with something better. Because I don't know what I'm doing. So that's about 9 inches tall. So this will also be a cut line. All right, I'm going to pause you again and go cut this. Hopefully I come back with 9 nails. I don't lose another one. Okay, guys, I am back. I made my fold lines again, right where I showed you. I cut this corner side piece off, folded here, and just barely cut off this little edge. I have it down to a 9-inch height. So now we have our 2 pieces. So what I'm going to do now is show you how I assemble these two pieces together. And hopefully this will let you know that you can do this with anything or any amount of file folders you want to do. You just give them a little bit of a lip, assemble the two together. So I am trying to decide if I want my seams on the inside or the outside. And I don't know. Okay, I'm going to put my seams on the inside since they're already folded in this direction and the pressure is real. Because I don't like my seams showing. So what I do is I cover that part with fabric or paper. So I'm going to take and flip this one over. And just line. Here, I'm going to flip it onto the side so you can see. I'm lining this 5-inch up with that first seam line because this is going to become my 1/4-inch seam in the middle. So again, you can see that I did not cut straight or didn't fold straight. A lot of my girls know that my husband had bought me this epic, and yes, I will use the word epic on it, this epic paper cutter. It's like a commercial guillotine paper cutter. It can do up to like 1.5 inches or 2.5 inches, something like that. So it's pretty crazy. However, I still can't cut a straight line. So at this point, I think it's just me. So now that that's glued down, I want to make sure that this folds still nicely. And while that's sitting there drying, I'm going to pause for a second and I'm going to cut up some Tyvek shipping envelope because I'm going to use that to reinforce these seams. Alright guys, I am back. I cut some strips of Tyveks. They're not perfect, they're not straight. I didn't even cut them down to 9 inches. But I'm going to show you how we're going to use this. We're going to reinforce all these seams. So, let's see. I didn't even cut enough because we're going to need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them, and I cut 4. So, cut 5 of them. Don't do what I'm doing. You guys have no idea how much breaking this nail is bugging the heck out of me. But it's not like I really have subscribers, and it's just my girls watching this, and you guys already know I am a hot mess, so I might as well just go with it. Okay, so I'm going to put this Tyvek down and just kind of squish it around to move. Squish it around. Okay, sorry. I got distracted by squishing it down. I like saying that for some reason. I'm just going to move it a little bit to get glue all over that Tyvek. However, did not go all the way out to the seam, so maybe it would have been smarter to put the glue on this. Okay, you guys all know that I don't really do things the smart way. Actually, my lazy way of spreading the glue out is to use the top of my glue bottle. It works. Okay. All right, all right, all right. I feel like I'm singing a song. You guys all get that song stuck in your head. I'm sorry. It's not my fault. And this could be why I need to refinish this table, because I am constantly getting glue and all kinds of other things. So put one there. After this dries, I'm just going to take my scissors from the other side and trim it down. Look, I'm going to learn. I'm going to put it on the right side. But I am going to put a little bit here. A little bit here, more on the table, because you know what, the table's like glue too. Why not? This is why I craft when my husband's not here. Now I craft when he's here because he doesn't really care. He's used to me being a hot mess. By this point, he should be at least all right. put that down. I'm going to hang it off the table a little bit, so hopefully I don't get all that area gluey because I went down below the 9 inches. So yeah, I guess if I was all smart about this and thought things through, I might have cut this Tyvek down a little bit to get it closer to 9 inches to give me an idea where to glue it at. But hey, I don't do that kind of stuff. If it makes sense, you can pretty much figure I'm not going to do it. I'm just cutting that piece off because it has glue and I don't want to make a mess. I don't want to have to clean up after myself. Our center crease, I'm going to do the same thing. All right, guys, yell at me through YouTube world and tell me a better way to do this. All right, I'm going to try putting it on here. I'm just going to make it wider. I mean, honestly, it's tacky glue. We're going to rock the tacky glue. Woo, make pretty designs. All right, I'm over it. Yeah, I want to use that one. I want to save my wide pieces for this seam. You guys realize this is why I don't do long videos, right? I hate rambling on and acting like you guys can hear me or you're paying attention or you care more than seriously just show us what you're doing. I guess I could be quiet, but that's kind of against my nature as well. I'm going to grab a paper towel real quick. All right, grabbed a paper towel. I'm going to just try to get some of this smoothed down. I don't really care if it's there, but as I was thinking about it, if I put something on it that's not real heavy, all those grooves could come out in it that I don't want. So, okay, no more being crazy with tacky glue. I hate having to think this stuff out. I just want to go with it. Go with it and fix mistakes as I make them, because I'm going to make them. I mean, honestly, I don't think any of us make anything without mistakes, without having to go back and fix something. I just choose to embrace my mess-ups and the fact that I'm a hot mess and it's going to happen. If I like it or not, no matter how much I try to think through something, I am going to mess up somewhere. Alright, everyone, I'm going to cut down one more piece of Tyvek and put it in here. I'm going to pause the camera because I think at this point you have seen all the ways I can mess up and figured out how you don't want to do it. How you're going to do it is beyond me, but I've shown you what not to do at this point. I think I also need to take some water and clean down my table a little bit. Be back in just a few. Okay, everybody, I'm back. I went ahead and folded again my crease lines. You probably should wait till this is dry, but that's not me. So what we're left with at this point is really kind of the core of this. Now you'd want to decorate it, put in pockets if you want pockets, all that good stuff. Now I'm going to explain some of the mistakes I made and hopefully corrected them on this one. I don't need that right now. When I first did this, I knew I wanted 5 inches here. Well, I thought if I did like 4, I think this was 4.5 here, it would just be more appealing when you're looking at it, give it kind of a difference between the two. However, one of the things I found out that I do not love is when you try to open this back up to get into things, you have to open the front so that those two can lay inside each other. And that really wasn't what I wanted. So I redid that, and that's why we did 5 inches, and we made this 5 inches as well. So I would say to try to keep all of this the same size between these panels. on that. The other thing I really didn't love was, I like travel journals that have the elastic in the middle, but thinking, oh, I'd kind of make it girly, make it a little cuter, I put a piece of ribbon and glued it down, then sewed over it. However, as you can see, one has come undone. So that idea did not work very well. I want to play around with putting like a piece of lace that would go here, wrap around the back, come up here, and maybe just tie off with a cute little bow. That I'm not sure of. I guess we'll figure that out when I come back and we talk about how we're going to decorate it, or how I'm going to decorate it. The other thing that I did on this one that I did not do on this one was I put another piece of some form of stiffener right here, because as I was, flipping all this back and forth, trying to figure out how I was doing everything, this crease right here, I'm not sure if it was going to rip. It just started to look like it was. So I was hoping to prevent, because here what I did was just wrapped a piece of lace over. The lace actually comes under here a little bit that you can't see and wraps over that spine. Spine isn't the right word to use, but whatever, you guys know what I'm saying. So I wrapped that over to stiffen that up. You could use cardboard, you could use probably even another piece of just a file folder there. You just want to give it some strength. You don't have to use a file folder. You could do this with just fabric. I would put some form of stiffener in your different panels if you are doing it with fabric. Again, a thin piece of cardboard, file folder, cardstock. One of my friends is going to yell at me, I'm sure, because she is my sewing guru, and I'm going to call it Wonder Under, but it's a brand name, so I'm sure there's another name for it. But you could put that in between your two pieces of fabric, kind of make a sandwich with it. So I think at this point I have explained or described well enough, I hope. I know it's kind of difficult to follow me because I don't even know what I'm doing half the time. How to do that part. I will think about what I'm going to do on the cover, what I'm going to do on pockets. Yeah, I boo-booed on the inside, but I fixed it. And it'll get covered up. If not, I'll just cover it with something. So I will think about all that, and we will see you shortly.